I make it HOT6 GSL. My conscience is telling me.
What's up, guys? Tasteless is back here, and we're now going to go into our final best of 5 today. Now, we already saw some interesting series. Super, he's good, but you can see he just did not quite have the ability to like shift gears fast enough in a best of 5. Byung's going to go on. Excuse me, I just wolfed my dinner down on that break. And I think this next game coming up here is going to be pretty sick. It's Life against Trap. Now, let's remember, Life, GSL champion. Many times people were saying he's the best in the world. Excuse me, last, you got to eat fast in these commercial breaks. Last time we saw Life, though, in GSL, got knocked out of the Code S in a bit of an upset. I was really wondering if we were going to have a situation where maybe Life would be somebody like Sue we'd see in the finals over and over and over and over. And he was vowing that he was going to come back and win another GSL, but now he's here in Code A, and he's going to go up against Trap. You know, frankly, Trap's pretty good. I think most of us, myself included, probably expecting Life to just shoot out of this group. But you don't want to count Trap out. Trap's pretty tricky to play against. I'd say, when you compare him to somebody like Super, got a lot more of a kind of dynamic play style. And that's something to keep in mind. However, Life, this guy is so solid. Some of the best engagements you'll see from a Zerg. He's somebody that, oftentimes he's not winning because of his overall strategy. He just sees a moment where he can do damage. He gets in there, and he punishes you. So we'll see how good Trap is at defending early on and how good Life is really at reading what build Trap is going to do. Because in a best of 5, I'd say maybe in a best of 3, I could see Trap doing it. Best of 5 against Life, that's going to be pretty tough. Again, I love the format that we use now here in the GSL Code A. It's I think, much more fair to the players, and it's a proper environment to test them before going into Code S. Anyways, our players are nearly ready. They've now joined the game. So we'll be starting this shortly. Here he is, Life. Easily one of the winningest players out there. Absolutely terrifying to watch play. I mean, it's really tough to even kind of concoct an idea of how you really beat this guy, And he very well may win this season. Dark, by the way, very exciting player as well we saw, with a very different play style from Life. Sorry, guys, I had to blow my nose there. So, Life, let's see what he does this time. I can't imagine him losing, but it's not the most ridiculous thing out there. I mean, Trap is pretty good. Would be cool to see him go on as well. Although, for my own selfish reasons, I would much prefer to see Life play. I'd much prefer to see Life in Code S. But these guys have had a lot of time to prepare. Let's also remember Life was knocked out fairly early on, for at least where we would expect Life to end up in a GSL. He's had some downtime. He's been able to practice. So let's see. Maybe he's going to bring something new here. Don't know that he needs to, but maybe. Now here's his opponent, Trap. One of the very good Prodosses out there. Great player. I don't always get the opportunity to cast him because he's not always in Code S, and that's normally my main shtick. But let's see what he's got to offer. The first map is going to be on Iron Fortress. I think that's a map that Life is going to have no problem on, just with it being big and the way it's shaped and the way you can take expansions. We might see a turtling Trap, but I mean, can you really turtle effectively against somebody like Life? Somebody who's so good, not just at early game and attacking, but also at end game producing, and he just has gotten the strategy down. I mean, he's sort of the prodigy of StarCraft II. So, Vani eliminated here by Life, not really surprising. So many weird Protoss builds there. Terraform by Trap, I think that's a fine elimination. Iron Fortress, Echo, Expedition Lost, Cactus Valley, and then Coda. Well, we have the two players now in the lobby, both requesting that we start the game, so we should be doing this soon. kind of interesting map lineup too. After Iron Fortress Echo, I do wonder what Trap does exactly against Life on that. Expedition Lost Cactus Valley. I think this is a good map lineup overall here for Life. But let's see, I've been wrong before. I might be wrong again now. Our countdown has started. Thank you so much for joining me here at the solo cast of the GSL Code A. I'm Tasteless. Without me is Artosis, Wolf, Brendan, Moonblade, everybody else. The Tasteless is holding down the fort, saving esports. And I hope you guys are enjoying these games, this cast. Life against Trap, a ZvP on the map Iron Fortress. And that game is loading up now.
Welcome to a GSL. This is the hot thing. Let's make it hot.
In the upper left in the red, he is
KT Roaster Live.
his opponent down here in the bottom left.
Gene Air Green Wings Trap.
We actually, as we're getting towards the ending of the day here, we have got a good number of people that came down to the studio. I believe a good number of them are from the fan club of Life. No joke there. He does have a lot of people that come and watch his games here. Very popular player. And so, as this game goes on, you know, it's a PVZ. So I guess we really got to see it as Life try to do anything cheesy. I think probably not. And with Trap, I have no clue what build he does. I mean, he's not an easy guy to predict. By the way, I definitely don't think we're going to have the same symptoms of what we saw with Super in that last time. I don't think we're going to have that. Super, where he was just kind of stuck doing that one build that by game 3, Byung had like solved entirely. I also think it's a little bit trickier to do stuff like that, even more so against Zerg, to be stuck in a build grid than it is against, let's say, Terran. Excuse me. I like wolfed down a Subway sandwich on that brick so fast, but keep belching. So we have the Nexus coming here and the Forge. And it looks like Life's going to go ahead and just get a third hatch here, which I think is fine. And this is Team Life down here. A giggly crew. And it looks like the probe is going to just kind of come up here, get a look at what's going on. And this should be a phase of the game where nobody can really hurt anybody, okay? This is where they're both kind of the macro railroad tracks have been laid out, and they just have to ride on those for a little bit. The probe's going to come up here now and confirm. Okay, there's 3 hatches. Pool was a little bit late, and now let's see. Is he actually going to cannon rush with this? Pool is a little bit later. And I guess when you do look at that location up there, that is very easily cannonable. I did not realize how totally easily cannonable that is, because you can just block it off with 2 pylons. I don't think he should make that. Oh no, I guess he can make that just out of the vision. I was going to say he should do his just out of vision. What you want to do is you want the hatchery to finish here. So, excuse me, I didn't realize you could actually cannon rush that easily, because you can block that top part off with a pylon easy peasy. So, you want the hatch to finish in this case, because they lose more money than if you just cancel. If you cancel, then it's kind of a weird gamble, right? Then, I mean, do you let the cannon, I guess you let one cannon finish, but then, well, how much does Zerg have to invest to get that cannon? By the way, Trap really kind of balancing out what he needed for that cannon rush, which I really like to see. Now, the Cybernetics core is going to finish. And Life's going to take an expansion over here in kind of the center left. Now let's talk about that for a second. Center left, that's pretty close to the Protoss' base, right? I mean, Protoss can pretty easily just from here do a follow-up attack. And this is, excuse me, this is one of the best ways that you can actually approach a follow-up with a cannon rush, right? I mean, there's a reason why Zergs take the bases they do in the locations that they do. It's not just a matter of they need a third base. They need to have a third base in a place that's safe. And by the way, they need to have a third base no matter what, almost all the time. So Zerg can't, just due to the structure of the map, Zerg can't really expand to the upper right. That seems a little bit weird. I guess Zerg has to expand there to center left location, but I mean, the push distance is so close. Looks like he's going to get a Stargate. Maybe he gets an Oracle from here. Let's see what happens. Now, with the Baneling's Nest and a lot of Lings making, Life may already have identified the multiple negative possible outcomes of having a base at this location because of, you know, Trap basically screwing him with the cannon rush. So he might just go for a Baneling bust here. And I gotta say, I can't blame him if he does. I think that's a pretty smart move. Now, this is one of those moments where it's like, well, does he know that I know that he knows that I know, that kind of thing. So maybe Trap will identify this, although it's being masked pretty impressively here by Life, not showing the majority of the Lings. But if Trap can kind of catch on to this, I think he's going to be in pretty good shape. Now, he needs to send the Lings down. He needs to hope that Oracle goes up to the expansion. And that's exactly what Trap's doing. And, oh my god, it wasn't even there. It was not even a hold position, excuse me. And this is a Baneling protecting a sentry for a moment in time here with his funny positioning. But this might be enough. Now, the Oracle's here, but it doesn't have any energy. I can't. Actually, like I said, the sentry did like way too much damage, so this is not going as smoothly for Life as it should be, but I think he's still going to just win this from here. Oh, missed force field there. They squeeze through. Those Lings are so little, you know. More Lings are going to come down here. They're actually going to get this pylon that is making the Stargate. Now, this Oracle can kill Lings for a limited amount of time, and they really don't have as much energy as you think they would. Lings can just run away. So I think, yep, look at the Psy. Let's do the Psy cam down here at the bottom. That's the unhappy nerd can right now. And, I mean, this screws up everything. This is just a complete and total disaster. And more Lings spill in. GG. That does it. Cool. Well, Trap had that cannon rush. I didn't actually realize that was that easily cannonable at the third base, but Life had an answer to that, all right. And let's see now what Life's going to go into his magic bag of good strats. Put that strat back in there. Get ready for the next strat to come out. Man, talk about Trap having an advantage and just really losing it. I mean, that's a real, you know, salty moment right there for Trap. I mean, that sucks, man. You are going to have to know that you actually got the cannon rush off. You got the positioning, but you've got to know that Life knows that, right? Life's not going to go into a late game against Trap. No way. Not in that position. It's a gamble, but it's a gamble worth doing. And even guys in Code A, you can occasionally outmaneuver them. There was a game of the rush, there was a game of then the positioning, but then there was a game of, okay, well, what is really the best option? Because in the end, you could predict Life's going to do something like that. Now, those Baneling attacks are not as common against Protoss. We don't see them that often, but it's probably the best option, right? Also, let's keep in mind the force field never got up. The sentry just got in there, so something else. But then again, I mean, what else can you say? Trap, he's got to be there on top of that sentry. I mean, this is, if you don't have that sentry in the right position and you're not ready to force field, it doesn't matter who you are, you will lose that. You can be like Gene spliced Rain and Classic and, you know, MC and everybody, put them together to make a super nerd. If he doesn't force field there, the Lings still get in and you lose. Speaking of which, we actually got MC casting today in the studio. Or a guest appearance. As we have one of our Korean casters, Shadow, out of town. So it's kind of cool to see MC down here. Probably doing a great job. You know, that guy's got to have like a lot of knowledge. Got to be pretty good guy. Well, it's going to be time for us to go into Echo as the next map. And we are making sure to put the Life fan club on camera. quite a bit here. Okay, well, let's see what happens on Echo. God, it'd be a frustrating moment there for Trav. And you know it's a best of 5. You know he could have maybe even won that had he just done a few right moves. I mean, if time machines exist, we could have sent Trav back in time and had him replay that. Maybe he would have won, you know? And I believe we're going to be going into this game momentarily here. Not quite sure what the issue is. We have the players in the booth now. There might be a small delay, though. We occasionally give these guys short 5-minute breaks. I'm not sure. I mean, it's always possible that, I don't know. I mean, one of the losing players requests a few more minutes off life. Go to the restroom. Splash like some water on your face. Whatever. Talk to your coach. We'll see. But yeah, whatever the delay is, we should be hopping into this pretty quickly here. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Myself, yours truly, down here in the GSL Code A. I haven't solo cast. Well, I solo casted last week, but before that, have not solo casted in a while. But this is how I started my career out as a caster. Initially coming to Korea to solo cast Brood War games. Artosis had not moved here yet. Was not actually thinking about even being a caster yet. But this is cool. Kind of fun to go back and try a different style of broadcast. And we'll see when we can hop into this game. There's a lot of StarCraft going on, by the way, throughout this entire weekend. We're going to have GSL Code 8 tomorrow. Then what do we got? We got DreamHack and we got IEM. So you got a lot of StarCraft games to keep up with. You could pretty much, based off the different time zones, since DreamHack's in Spain and Valencia and IEM's in Shenzhen in China. And then, we're also here in Korea. I mean, you could pretty much have your PC on StarCraft streams like all day, so it's pretty cool. What are these guys doing? I'm getting hung out to dry here and talking to you guys in this camera like this. I don't have stuff to say right now, but hopefully we'll go into this game pretty soon here. Looking at that first game, I don't think Trap's going to win now, actually. I mean, it's kind of sad to say. I was saying maybe he could, and he had that really good start. I mean, he got the cannon rush off to the point where even the hatchery finished, and he punished it. He took that out, and Life took the undesirable hatchery location. But, I mean, what Life did there, that's not totally uncommon. When you get in a position like that, what are you going to do? Well, you got to do a bit of a gamble, right? You have some attack you can do while the economics are still balanced. I mean, yeah, he lost a hatchery, but Protoss did make 2 cannons and a pylon in a place that's not defending an expansion. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, you got to expect that that's something that might, turn out from that. It's something that is totally doable there for Life to do. And the fact that he wasn't even looking at the sentry, I mean, that's weird. Granted, he might have still broken through, but, I mean, if you're not on top of that right away, maybe Trap was a little bit too eager, maybe a little bit too excited. He's probably in his booth and he's thinking like, oh my God, okay, the cannon rush actually worked. This is Life. I've just cannon rushed Life, and I'm in a great position now. And maybe he was so excited when that Oracle came out, he ran in there. And, I mean, yeah, and I mean, Life did do a pretty decent job, though, with those Lings. Kind of having some of them over here, making, the Zealot, and I think it was a Stalker or something that saw it with the Oracle. And I guess Trap was pretty confident. Okay, he doesn't have anything. Plus, I got the Lings in that fight down there. So now he really doesn't have anything. And this means I'm going to get a lot of drone kills. And I believe we are going to go throw this up on screen. Try to give Tasteless something to talk about. But, guys, I think I'm looking back here. Okay, so hold up. It's my head's facing the camera now, so you guys can't see my bald spot. But I'm looking right now at the booth here, and there's something wrong with Life's PC setup, and I'm not sure what the deal is. I know we have the looks like GOMTV in there. Oh, you know what I think happened? I think he spilled a drink. And we just can't have that, guys. Let me tell you something. StarCraft goes with a lot of things. It doesn't go with wet tables. Okay, so I think we shut the booth here. And, okay, I think we should be ready to go then. Okay, that makes sense. Don't you hate it when you spill a drink and you're playing StarCraft? I can actually, I see myself on one of these things down there. Anyways, I think it's going to be starting up here pretty soon. For the time being, we're still waiting and trying to figure out exactly if they're all cleaned up. Looks like, okay, Life says go. And Trap. Trap is now saying go as well. So it looks like we can start this. Yeah, man, I once had it where like I knocked over, I don't know, it was like a giant cup of green tea into my keyboard in a game. And then I'm like, shit! And I pick up my keyboard and I turn it upside down. And there's all this liquid coming out. And then half my keys didn't work. And Tasteless had to play a game with half the keys working. Don't worry, I won. It was fine. It's just, you know, it's that's the European extreme hard mode. That's the secret unlockable hard mode of the game. It's like that time I beat 7 nerds at once in StarCraft without a monitor. All right, we got a game loaded up here. Finally, let's go do this. Game number 2 here, Life and Trap. Okay, in the upper left, in the red.
KT Roaster Live.
And in the bottom right, in the blue.
Gene Air Green Wings Trap.
Okay, so game number 2 is here. Let's see how exactly, you know, Trap and Life are gonna, you know, have a game, because Life is so good. I mean, that last game really does exemplify why this guy has won so many GSLs. It's not always about him getting ahead and then staying ahead. It's about him realizing he's behind and making the right bet. It's about him, when he engages, even if he's not got the superior army, he trades the damage as efficiently as possible. I mean, he's got everything mapped out. Now, from Trap's side of things, he's got the gateway coming over here. And it's going to be definitely a different build. Definitely a very, very different build. No cannon rushes this time around. And, oh no, I knocked my coffee over. That's okay. It's okay. Only you guys and I know that. That's fine. Okay, so we got Nexus starting up here, and it's going to be another triple hatch build. And I think this is a little bit, well, I guess it's a lot of bit safer for Life here to do the 3 hatches here. It's a gateway first build, but that doesn't mean that, you know, Protoss can really punish it. But this also means that, you know, Zerg can actually try to Protoss can actually try to tech up a little bit quicker here. You know, they already have the gateway up. They can get that gas kind of fast. You get that forge here. Now, he's patrolling this probe back here, and he may want to make it look like he is doing a cannon rush. Or is he actually just going to do a cannon rush? Let's see. Because it's funny, right? Because you think of a gate first, you're like, well, he's not going to cannon rush. But then again, I guess if you go 3 hatches, right, everything's pretty late anyways. So the pool's still not done. And so, yeah, he's just going to do this. This is just happening. Now, this is pretty cute. Because as you can see here on this map, the mineral's back behind, I mean, you really can squeeze a cannon in there pretty nicely. Ooh, couldn't get the cannon over there where that creep was. Didn't quite get there in time. That was a little error, but that might add up. Now, this is actually, there was a very old Brood War build, and we saw it a little bit in StarCraft II, builds like this, where you actually went gate forge and did a cannon rush like this. And there was some of it in StarCraft II, but this is like a weirder hybrid version of that, because it's 3 hatch, and I guess it's a fast expand, but since everything's late enough, I guess you can do that. Now, Life's trying to come over here. Now, you can just tuck that Zealot in the minerals. And you are in trouble. And the Zealots, the Lings are going to come over and try to block this off. Now, let's say this works, and I think it is. What does Zerg do? What does Zerg actually do? Do you do that Baneling again? The Zealots are getting driven back. I mean, the hatch is getting low enough, though. I don't know if this is going to matter, but he's sending Queens up here now. If he saved this hatch, that would be huge. But he's also done a great job just keeping the Zealots alive. They don't even need to be attacking. He's really just making sure they're out of range of the Queen. And so the hatch, I believe, unless he tries in the last second, which I don't think he will, it does go down. Nicely done. Now, I guess he can try to engage over here with the Queens and the Lings. Try to take this out. I think he'll do that effectively. And then just remake the expansion. But what if he tries to do that attack again anyways? I mean, what if he tries to do that Baneling all in? I don't know. I mean, it could work. This is getting pretty futile, man. All the Lings are dead. So that was some serious value. That was a cool, wonky, a little bit later than normal, but I guess it works because Life's build was kind of greedy. I wonder if Life was having the same problem, because when I was cast this, I wasn't aware of like just how cannon rushable the backs of those expansions really are. But yeah, I mean, you could see that the way they're set up. I mean, I almost wonder if that was like the map maker's intention to some degree, right? That you can just make the third base super cannonable, since a lot of Zergs are just going 3 hats right away. Kind of, and that, by the way, this has happened plenty of times with StarCraft, as the map makers try to alter the meta of the game, because you have the meta is dictated heavily by not just who's playing, but what maps do we have at the time. So, interesting thing to note. Let's look down the road, you know, from here, from today, and then onward through Code S. Let's keep our eyes peeled, actually, and see if we have Zergs having the same problem that Life's been having early on here. So, these two Zealots, they are going to confirm that there's a hatchery here. And what he wants to do is he wants to get over here and get that Queen, but that's not going to happen. This round's going to be too good. So the Robo is done now. And he's going to make a Warp Prism. Now that's interesting. What kind of game is this going to be? Now he could bring the Warp Prism with the gates. He could attack the front. He could maybe, I'm not sure, try to do some kind of drop somewhere, isolate with force fields. This is an interesting one. Now he's going to get +1, and note how very early this +1 is. Boom! It's like about to finish, and that's because he got a very early forge with that rush, and that's one perk you get with that. So I look at this and I'm thinking Zerg doesn't have armor yet. I think Zealots, a lot of them are going to be pretty strong. And maybe he's going to do that right now. Maybe he's going to send these sentries and Zealots out over here and just try to pick a fight. And hey, cool, look over here. He's going to expand and take a third base. Twilight Council is finishing up. Now, is this meant to really destroy a lot or to harass? I don't even think that's really the important question. What's important is that it's going to work in a lot of ways. I think you send this out and you sort of see what works based off of what the because how this game kind of turned out, right? You already got a hatch out there early, so you can get away with a lot of stuff you can't normally do. And he's just going to go for a little push up here, and there it is. Beautiful force fields. Now these are +1 Zealots, but the Lings have a decent angle. And nice micro picking up the weakened Zealots and dropping them. Unfortunately, Life just has too many Lings, and I guess we could sort of conclude that even though this idea is really, even though the idea is really good, the application of it seems to actually be easier to stop than I guess we could assume, right? Like I think it's like a cool idea, but it's like, well, actually, Zerg just has like makes a ton of Lings, man. Doesn't matter. You don't. I mean, you did cannon rush after all. I guess you don't have that much, but still, cool idea by Trap. You know, you see some players who never cannon rush, and that's because there are so many variables to take in. Each cannon rush is different, even when it works. And Zerg players have historically responded so differently post cannon rush that it's sometimes a little bit difficult. A lot of people refuse to practice cannon rushes that much because they want to practice more standard macro games. Cannon rush is less common, so you end up with sort of a kind of uncharted territory with builds, I guess you could say. Sometimes, you know, like each rush is different. How many Lings did he get? How long did the cannon stay there? When did they remake the hatch? Did they remake the hatch? All that crap. So that's one of the reasons why occasionally we see weird follow-ups sort of like this. And we're now going to have a second push coming out here, which I think is fine. But Life's going Ling Hydra. Let's keep it in mind, if Life wins this game. I mean, he's really making Trap look like he does not know how to cannon rush, and he's a bit foolish for even trying it. The Lings are coming down here now along with the Roaches. Nice force fields isolating the few Lings and a Roach back over here. Target set down. And now he should probably do another warp in or go somewhere safe and warp in here. And that's what he's going to do. Getting some more Zealots over here in the front. Oh, I see what he's doing. Okay, he's going to pick up there. So the Templar Archives has started. We got a good amount of Immortals. It seems like Trap's got good game sense. He's getting the Templar Archives. Probably a good read here since Hydras are on the way. Definitely need that Psy Storm against the Hydras. Ling's coming up here to try to counterattack. Kind of futile. You got the standard wall up there. Double gateway, double pylon surrounding a cannon. And look at this, just a little bit of harass. And this is all you got to do. Keep Zerg busy. Oh, nice. I love those force fields. That was really good. And so the Roaches now have all been gunned down. Well, most of them at least. And what Life is doing here, Life is going to attempt to max out and actually run over Protoss. He's at 160. He's got a good number of Hydras. He's going to have all these Roaches with this. Roaches might come in. He might just make a wave of Lings behind it. We'll see. And he just wants to try to run him over. And I think this is because he shut down that rush. Trap's not necessarily so behind, but I mean, Zerg is definitely going to be able to max out here. I think an attack is definitely on the way. Psystorm is also halfway done. So he might have a small window where he can actually attack when Storm's not really available. And, you know, Force Field's great and all, but Hydras can just shoot over it a lot of the time. Well, looks like actually he backs off a little bit, and Psystorm's going to be finishing just so close here. So maybe not much of a timing there. We'll see. We'll see how many Templars he ends up having. And, you know, Trap has the right idea. Warp in with the Zealots. When they're going Roach, Hydra, the Warp Prism is your best friend because you can just pick up and leave. And most maps, this one not as much, but most maps have this crazy cavity behind the main that you can just park it. Then they have to make anti-air to punish you. And of course, you know, with Spores and Queens, they don't have a ton of great range, so you can kind of fly around him a lot of time. And so he's going to warp in again, a massive number of Zealots here. And this does keep a Zerg that's maxed out not attacking you back at home. So Zerg's here on 4 bases. And is maxed, but Protoss is catching up. It's 167 supply, and this nice push up here. Look at this. Zerg's out of position. He's gonna have enough force fields. He just guns down the hatch. I absolutely love it. Look, I mean, he's got the storms here. He can actually probably hit those Hydras. Oh, look at that, stuck in the corner. And he's gonna keep storming this. Really, I'm actually surprised Life tried to even engage for as long as he did there. That was crazy. 3 base versus 3 base now. Trap looking good. And why not? Warping some more Zealots right over here. After all, Life's chasing you. Time warp there so you can do a better position. Yeah, I think Trap's going to do this. I think he's done a very good job doing the Warp Prism, that attack where Zerg was out of position. That's what you got to do. Protoss, they really got to pick their fights based off the position. I mean, I know it might sound silly because we all have to pick fights based off position, but Protoss get to create position because they have sentries. So it's no longer like, well, I can get over there in time. It's like, nope, this is a map-making unit. I can actually change the map with a sentry for a little bit of time. And with this map, okay, so we've talked about the diamond on this map, right? If you see the diamond shape, it kind of looks like a little highway in the middle of the map. Roach Hydra is probably not that good on this map because Protoss can just always get an engagement where they can get a line, and an approaching Zerg will only have like a kind of like a Tetris block rectangle pushing forward. And as you can see here, Protoss is much better bunched up. The arc that Zerg ideally wants to have is actually being filled in by the corner, the edges of the ramp here. So that's it, GG. Wow, cool. Trap's like, okay, I can win this. 2 cannon rushes. Let's see how game 3 goes. Trap, though, very good handling. You know, it's one of the newer maps, but I think in general, Roach Hydra, it has a lot of negative parts to it on that map. I think I think it's not hard for Protoss to get into a good position against you. Try it. Load up that map. Take a look at that little diamond highway. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could just kind of get set up, and they can't really touch you. Muted map, maybe? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't quite know the right way for Zerg to play it yet. I guess we'll learn as this season continues onward, but something to note. Sometimes the only way to learn something is to figure out what you can't do before you figure out what you can. Well, a lot of tension here in the studio. We're going to the third match. Expedition loss. Let's keep in mind that Trap's Cannon Rush worked very well in Game 1, not just that last game, in Game 1. And had he not, had Trap been prepared, he could have possibly held off the rush there from Life. So there's a chance that, you know, if history was a little bit different here today, I think that Trap would have been up 2-0, but I mean, this is still scary stuff, right? It's basically turned into a best of 3. How many more cannon rushes are actually going to happen? You can see Trap was definitely one of the first Protoss we had who really tested out cannon rushes behind the mineral patches up third bases on our new maps, and has effectively used them to beat a GSL champion Life. Pretty cool. Well, we have Life in the game. It's possible Trap has requested a break. So we'll see what's going on in a second here, guys. Sit tight. Okay, Trap's joined up now. Really good games today, actually. I enjoyed this. Even though the Series 2, Best of 5, was, I mean, it had some deficits there. It's good because you get to learn. Sometimes the games that have helped me most of all in StarCraft are the ones where I just see somebody lose horribly, and I'm like, oh, okay. It really makes you realize, okay, you really need this thing, you really need that, or you really need to mix it up in this case in a best of 5. Also, you know, the kind of storyline we got unfolding here with these two cannon rushes, right? Are we going to see a third? Are we going to see 3 hatch opening again here from Life? Because both times it was punished successfully. Also, I wonder, had that cannon rush not worked in game number 1, or excuse me, the counterattack hadn't worked in game number 1. Maybe, no, hold up, okay, I'm like taking all the possible scenarios in my head. I'm wondering, like, if there was no cannon rush in game 1, would that happen in game 2? Do you think that, you know, Life could have just done the Baneling attack to break in on the second map as well? I also wonder if what would happen if Life just tried to do a different all-in post hatch being taken down. I guess, though, once he committed with the Queen and the Lings attacking those cannons, I guess he really just gave up too much. You can't kill the cannons and then do the counterattack, right? You can't, you know, eat your cake and have it. I mean, you can't get rid of both of those things and ever expect to be ahead unless your opponent's making some terrible mistake. Anyways, game number 3 here is loading up. Expedition Lost is our map. It's 1-1 right now. Life, GSL champion against the underdog Trap. Let's see how game number 3 goes.
Welcome to a GSL.
I say that I would never surrender. Let's make it hot.
In the bottom left, in the red.
KT Roaster Live.
In the upper right, in the blue, he is.
Gene Air Green Wings Trap.
Are we going to have a forge? I'd like it. I'd like to see that. I think that'd be cool. But is it in Trap's best interest? I mean, sometimes what makes a fun, you know, best of 5 for us isn't always, you know, what's best for the player. Now, gold bases have been tried on this map. I don't know if Life's going to do it this time. I think the way this map set up the gold base stuff is pretty punishable. What is that drone doing? Looks like he's hit it over there. And he's, what? All right. Well, let's remember there is the rocks in the main, the separate second path into the main. And I mean, if you go forge first, you know, those cannons, they got to be by pylons. Pylons, something you don't have a ton of at the start of the game. And I think this is pretty smart. Unless it's scouted. Oh. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wow. And we're going to cannon rush the hatch. Oh, my God. Oh, guys. I didn't know it was Christmas. Wait. Hold on, let me go to... Is he... Oh, yeah, he did go to the forge. I'm crazy. Okay. Oh, no, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, you're too close. Now life's like, oh, my God. This game is a freak show. I can't believe this. This is just completely a disaster. We could actually cover the IDs up right now, and you'd be like, oh, this is probably 2 Bronze League players. It's like, no, actually, guys, these are, that's a Code S Champion getting cannon rushed to place without minerals. I'd be like, oh, believe it or not. No, I mean, that's just, this is, you know, if I kidnapped a nerd and blindfolded him, you know, and then untook off the blindfold and had the names covered up and no pictures here and showed him this game, and I'd be like, what? Like, who are these players? He would not guess people about one of which is going to go into Code S. Well, now I do wonder, right? Since this game's gotten so weird, I guess Zerg just has to take a normal third base. So we've had 3 cannon rushes in a row. Listen, if the 4th cannon rush happens and my cannon rush punch card, I think I get like a free Subway or something like that, free sandwich. Let's see though. Had Trap not made that cannon so close, he actually could have killed the hatch, and that would have just been like bad, man. Granted, the cannons aren't in like a really great spot for later on. I mean, it still would have worked. Uh-oh. Speaking of cannons that you don't have, you need to have a cannon there. Well, I guess the Mothership Core can come out. This is really, really bad, actually. Because what he wants is he wants the Zealot to come down, and then he just tries to slip through. Okay, Mothership Core comes, barely getting by. Again, every cannon rush game you see, you're watching the players sort of think on their own feet, right? Because you know, it's not like you guys are both doing 2 builds perfectly. It's like, no, he canceled at this time, or lost X amount of drones or lings, or that, you know, had too many cannon cancels. And what we're going to see is the remix of Game 1. Now, there's only 1 sentry going to come here. Oh, sees the Baneling. So he's going to have to come in here. He's going to do a Baneling bust, and there's only 1 pylon. Oh, this is intense. Mothership Core trying to just abuse these Banelings. Force field is almost gone. Now, does he go for the pylon here? Yes, he does, because he wants to hit that Zealot there, too. And now he comes in here. Now he gets a surround. Sweet. Did I say... Oh, no. Hold on. He might... Can Protoss hold this? Hold on. Can Protoss hold this? I mean, Mothership Core... Zerg is... What is Zerg making here? Hold on a second. Check preview PC. Yeah, he's still making Lings and Banelings. Oh my God, but it taps out. Life is down. 1-2. This is the Cannon Rush best of 5 GSL Code A match that you were waiting for, guys. Screw normal builds. I don't know what late game is, okay? You mean there's more flying units than just Overlords and Mothership Cores? No, I'm sorry, not today. We're bringing it back to 1998 when cannons ruled the world. So we're going to have to, I guess, take a break here while Trap figures out, what Cannon Rush is going to do, and Life is going to figure out if he can stop them. So stay tuned. We'll be back shortly here in the GSL Code A.